By virtue of the authority conferred on me as Vice-Chancellor, I now constitute this Assembly a congregation of the University of Cape Town.
Please stand for the National Anthem. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite Sepati Chabalala, President of the Student Representative Council, to read the university dedication.
At this time of celebration, we, the members of the University of Cape Town, reaffirm our mission to nurture rational and creative thought and free inquiry, to strive for excellence in teaching and research, to educate for life, and to address the challenges of our society. We undertake to advance these ideals in a spirit of freedom and responsibility, and through consultation and debate. To those of you who will graduate today, we wish you courage, wisdom, and purpose. To those who will leave the university to learn and work elsewhere, may you be sustained by those values which unite us here today and advance them in the world beyond. A love of truth and of learning and of this university. Thank you.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank the South African College of Music for providing the music today. The processional march music was performed by Black Roots Marimbas, led by African music student Sky Dladla, who graduated in May. The national anthem was accompanied by organist Neil Robertson, who has been accepted to do a master's degree in flute performance at the University of Michigan this September. Pianist Alice Clegg also graduated in May with 4 distinctions and the degree with distinction. We like to think of the South African College of Music as the jewel in the crown of UCT, providing artists for the world's most famous stages. Today, we have been delighted to welcome back South African tenor Levi Sekgapane. He is an alumnus of the South African College of Music, winner of the Hans Gabor Belvedere International Singing Competition, winner of the Montserrat Caballé International Singing Competition, and the latest opera sensation all over Europe. Levi sang Una furtiva lagrima from the Italian opera L'Elisir d'Amore by Donizetti. Levi heads to Kazakhstan next week to compete in Placido Domingo's Operalia, the World Opera Competition. Good luck, Levi. We'll be rooting for you. Thank you. Vice-Chancellor, the UCT Book Award is given for a book authored by a member of the university, judged to be of exceptional scholarly or literary merit, and the best of the year amongst a number of books of such exceptional quality. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the UCT Book Award for 2017, David Shane Chidester, Professor in the Department of Religious Studies. David Chiddester's Empire of Religion, Imperialism and Comparative Religion provides a new history of the study of religion that locates knowledge about religion and religions within the power relations of imperial ambitions, colonial situations, and indigenous innovations. By developing a material history of the study of religion, Empire of Religion documents the importance of African religion, the persistence of the conceptual divide between savagery and civilization, and the salience of complex mediations in which knowledge about religion and religions was produced, authenticated, and circulated within imperial comparative religion. Empire of Religion was a finalist for the American Academy of Religions Award for Excellence in Religious Studies and the Society for the Anthropology of Religions Clifford Geertz Prize. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite you to grant the UCT Book Award for 2017 to David Shane Chidester. Vice-Chancellor, the UCT Creative Works Award recognizes the production of important creative work by a member of the university. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the 2017 UCT Creative Works Award, Gideon Francois du Toit, Associate Professor in the South African College of Music. Being approached by the Cape Town Philharmonic Orchestra to perform all 5 Beethoven concertos on 2 successive nights, representing the journey that Beethoven undertook as a composer and revolutionary in music, was a daunting challenge, but also the realization of a lifelong dream for Francois du Toit. Throughout history, music has proved to be a universal language and has the ability to draw people from all cultures together. The performances of Francois du Toit's The 5 Beethoven Concerti with the Cape Philharmonic Orchestra were a collaboration between himself, a Russian conductor, a truly South African orchestra, and a local television studio. Though these concerti have been in existence for over 200 years, to every artist, they are initially a compilation of black dots on a page that need to be dissected, researched, and interpreted. In the words of Beethoven, don't only practice your art, but force your way into its secrets, for it and knowledge can raise men to the divine. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite you to grant the 2017 UCT Creative Works Award to Gideon Francois du Toit.
Vice-Chancellor, Professor Reddy, I have to present the honorary degree to Zakir Ahmed. Zakir Ahmed belongs, let me wait for you, Zakir. Sorry. Zakir Ahmed belongs to the genre of the intellectual activist. Genre in French, and the Webster defines it as follows. It is a category of artistic, music, literary composition characterized by a particular style, form, or content. Zakir Ahmed is also an artist. He's a writer, documentary maker. His story is one of the 28 stories featured in the 207 nonfiction book entitled 28 Stories of AIDS in Africa. edited by Stephanie Nolan. Ahmed is portrayed as a saint in the 2009 video opera Fig Tree. His role in the battle for mass, daar sê, laat hulle maar lag, nee. Ons weet dis waar. There's a slight, can you all hear me? Because there's a sort of, is it fine? Thank you. His role in the battle for mass treatment in Africa is portrayed in the award-winning 2013 documentary film, Fire in the Blood. He has also directed a few documentaries, Law and Freedom in 2005, and this is a two-part documentary about landmark court cases in South Africa. To name a few awards, nationally and internationally. In 2001, he was awarded the Desmond Tutu Leadership Award. In 2001, the People in Need's Homo Homini Award for Human Rights Activism. In 2003, the National Press Club in South Africa as Newsmaker of the Year. In 2003, the Jonathan Mann Award for Global Health and Human Rights. In 2003, the Nelson Mandela Health and Human Rights Award. In 2003, he was elected an Ashoka Fellow. In 2003, he was named one of Time's 2003 European Heroes. And we have to listen to this, he is a hero. In 2004, he was voted as one of the great 100 South Africans. In 2004, he was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. In 2009, he was awarded the Open Society Fellowship. And in 2011, the City of Cape Town Civic Honours. A sure sign of fame and success is when a person is portrayed as a character in a novel, an opera, a film, or short story. Hence my reference to the word genre. So here is my story. I put my oration against internet representations, the media, citations, newspaper articles, and my memory. Once upon a time, there was a young and daring young man called Zakir Ahmed, the son of Suleiman Ahmed and Maimuna Adams. His sister is called Midi. For all the gay or queer people in this country and elsewhere, Zakir is an icon. He was diagnosed HIV positive in 1990. In 2005, he suffered a heart attack, but after his recovery, returned to his work as an activist. He gave other HIV people agency by talking about his illness and fighting all the misconceptions. It was no longer a scandal or a shame to be HIV positive, and Zakir Ahmed helped to attack discrimination against this illness. This daring young hero also protests against other forms of discrimination. He is also an important speaker for freedom of the press and takes a firm stance against corruption in our society. His work on LGBT rights will always be noted here and elsewhere. In the morphology of the folktale written by the Russian formalist Vladimir Prop, he was born in 1895, he passed away in 1970. A folktale is analyzed in morphemes with 31 narrative units. If we read Zakir's life as a folktale, we could see the functions of the different dramatis personae. The young Zakir was brought up by his mother and aunt, and although he did not complete matric, he graduated with a BA Honours degree in English Literature from the University of the Western Cape in 1992 and studied filmmaking at the Cape Town Film School. In 2002, he received the ERA MA from the University of Cape Town. The conjunction elements, the ex machina, the announcement of misfortune in Prop's tale, happened when he realized that he was gay and experienced racial discrimination. Raised by his mother and aunt, the absence of a father figure should also be noted. This takes us to the third level of Prop's analysis, namely motivations, reasons, and aims of all the characters in the story. As a young person, he became politically active. According to all the profiles, Ahmed set fire to his school in Salt River in support of the 1976 student protests, and he was imprisoned several times during his youth for political activities. He joined the ANC in 1980 while serving time in prison. Forms of appearance of the dramatis personae, for instance, the flying arrival of a dragon, a chance meeting with a help or a donor, happened when he crossed Mbeki and refused to comply with the views of AIDS. Health Minister Manto Tsabalala Msimang was severely criticized on her vegetable cures. And the current president is accordingly lambasted for corruption and unethical behavior. Zakir Ahmed co-founded the National Coalition for Gay and Lesbian Equity in 1994 and has always ensured protection for gay and queer people in South Africa. He played a major role in granting equal status to same-sex partners. Zakir publicly announced his HIV-positive status in 1989 and refused to take antiretroviral drugs until all who needed them had access to these drugs. What a brave stand. He also protested against the lack of sanitation service in Khayelitsha in 2013. There are other moments of a grand stand against unfairness and discrimination. Dutefuna Ugwazai, Dare to Know, is the name of the Center for Law and Social Justice he founded. Hence, the final outcome of Prop's folktale will come to a conclusion. Our hero and activist is awarded an honorary degree by UCT. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the award of the degree of the Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, Abdurazak Ahmed, Zaki. But Big Mama is the big girl. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the privilege not only of recognizing a distinguished South African, but also having him address us. In introducing our speaker, Dr. Zakir Ahmed, I have little to add to the beautiful oration by my colleague, Professor Joan Hambidge. I'll simply mention that Zakir Ahmed was born in the Johannesburg suburb of Vredendorp, grew up in Salt River, as we have heard. He did not matriculate, but did achieve a BA Honours degree in English Literature from the University of the Western Cape. Subsequently, he studied filmmaking at the Cape Town Film School. He was awarded an honorary master's degree by this university in 2002, and we believe that Zakir Ahmed is unique in being the only individual to have been awarded 2 honorary degrees by this institution. The Treatment Action Campaign, co-founded by Ahmed, was launched in December 1998, and I quote, to draw attention to the unnecessary suffering and AIDS-related deaths of thousands of people in Africa, Asia, and South America. Ahmed publicly announced his HIV-positive status in 1998 and refused to take antiretroviral drugs until all who needed them had access to them. He eventually started treatment shortly before the government announced that it would, after all, make antiretrovirals available in the public sector. In 2008, Zakir Ahmed co-founded the Social Justice Coalition, an organization with the aim of promoting the rights enshrined in South Africa's constitution, particularly among poor and unemployed people living in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Zakir Ahmed to address us.
Ek gaan altyd na die verkeerde kant. Chair of Council, Vice Chancellor, above all the graduates, the supervisors of the PhD students, the parents of all of you, the lecturing staff, all the staff like Colleen Jafter, who had to get my head measurement, which I still haven't provided to her. This is a very difficult and deep honor. It's difficult because of the danger that our country is going through and the divisions that have opened up in our society. It is important because of all my friends sitting on my right-hand side. They're comrades, they're friends, they're family members who have been part of a struggle since the 1970s. For instance, I'll just mention one of them. The one holding his ear because he's deaf and won't get a hearing aid is Jack Lewis, who was my first boyfriend. But he's now my mother. So every day I get a phone call, have you taken your pills? And with Jack, I've lived a life that is one of deep, enormous privilege. Privilege to be an activist, privilege to have been alongside him when he did his PhD and when he was banned. His PhD was in economic history of the Sky. And in doing that PhD, I learned more probably than he did, I think. But where will I start today? I want to speak about decolonizing our city and decolonizing our property law. I want to speak to you of a woman called Selina Lehane. Selina Lehane was born in 1945 in Kensington in Cape Town. She was born in a shack. Her parents were living there. But Selina was an African woman. And in 1960, in the year of Sharpeville, when 15,000 people were moved from Kensington to Nyanga West, at the age of 15, she and her brother was forced to move to what is now Gugulethu. Their mother was what was called a laundry girl in Sea Point. Selina Lehane eventually became a domestic worker and a restaurant worker herself in Sea Point. And she worked at La Rochelle, which is now a hotel, I think. Over the decades, she got married. She married a nice colored man from Mitchell's Plain. And in 1995, they got a home in Sea Point, a proper, decent home in a place called Wynyard Mansions. It is a state home, a government home. And it used to be a place where poor white pensioners used to live in Sea Point. In 2012, Selina Lehane was forcibly removed, along with many others. And when I say force, I mean the force of law and an unjustness. And Selina Lehane, still a domestic worker, now with grandchildren and a daughter living with HIV, was moved to Sundrift. Wynyard Mansions became empty. Poor people forced out of our city. She forced to Drift Sands, and a little 9-year-old granddaughter living with HIV having to travel all the way every day from Drift Sands to school in Sea Point. Selina Lehane has broken heart syndrome. What we heard about Sunay, the journalist whose death was caused by Claudio Motsoeneng and Jacob Zuma, that is what Selina Lehane went through. So why am I telling you this? Because there's a case that my colleagues at Ndifunokwas and Reclaim the City are fighting. They're fighting a case against the province, against Premier Helen Zille, against Donald Grant, and against a property developer who captured the property department, a billionaire company owner who became acting head of the property department in the Western Cape government. His name is Gary Fisher. He's also a pastor. Selina Lehane lived on a property that was now sold for 135 million rand. Originally, the Human Settlements Department had asked for that land for housing for working class and poor people. We believe that our city belongs to everyone who lives in it. And unless we identify our city, unless we bring people closer into the suburbs, into the CBDs, we will suffer not only the devastation of climate change and of greater economic loss as the urban periphery gets moved further out, but what we will in fact suffer is a resistance that will make Hout Bay, where one of the people was killed a couple of weeks ago, a resistance that will make Hout Bay seem like a Sunday picnic. It is our duty, and our Constitutional Court has made it very clear, that property in South Africa today is socially bound. That property is not only to maximize wealth, but property is engaged to ensure a life in dignity. The Constitutional Court has also said that private landowners and private owners may have positive duties. And I want to end my address to you on this, on another person, Brenda Smith. I grew up in Salt River, which is an industrial working class suburb. I rather lived on the streets and worked as a sex worker than going to live in Mitchell's Plain. Because for me, townships kill our imagination. They confine our children. They confine our children to a life of destitution with our clearest role models, the best gangsters who are also the smartest children at our schools. And so, what I want to finish on is Brenda Smith, who is 76 years old, born in a house in Bromwell Street in Woodstock, now being forced out to Wolverrivier, 28 or 30 kilometers outside the city. Her grandchildren will be out of a school. I ask you, is this justice? Is this post-apartheid? For us, the urban land question is the most important one, Comrade Fighter and Comrade SRC President. And if students at this university who have participated in Reclaim the City will be able to tell you that at the moment we're occupying two buildings, one called Sissy Gould House, we renamed the Woodstock Hospital, and the Helen Bowden Nurses Home, now called Ahmed Kathrada House. I want to say to you today that unless we, as black people, as white people, as African people, as colored people and Indian people, as working class and middle class people stand together, this city will burn. You young people going out today, you are not the future. You are not the future, you are the present. You are today. Do not stand aside. Do not stand aside. We need you. But above all, we need you to remove Jacob Zuma. Because unless we remove Jacob Zuma and the criminal gang that have taken over our state, our struggle against capitalism, I'm a socialist, our struggle against injustice, our struggle for land equity against spatial violence will fail. And I want to say thank you to every lecturer here, to every student here, to every parent here, and above all to my comrades who struggle alongside me. And I want to mention this old lady sitting right here at the corner, Sisimpume Mantangana. She was a nurse who helped and continues to help many people living with HIV. Mandla!
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been provoked, challenged, profoundly moved, shaken from any complacency that we might have, but above all, I think given hope in the inspiring example that our speaker set, our honorary graduate. Let's thank Dr. Zakir Ahmed once again. Thank you. And Mbongi is a composer and an orator of poems of praise. Mbongi offer critical commentary and narrative on the state of society through their Izibongo. Here, to offer a poem of praise, an umbongo, in honor of the graduates, their families, and teachers, is artist and UCT music education student, Neliswa Sampi Munyelwa, whose stage name is Sange.
Yaswabuluki namba lapho nginyangela South Africa madoda ewaliqhaqhazile laduduma lana yabizwa lakwigama wangumpumelelo nompumelelo malo ntsikelelo malo ntsikelelo hleki isikhazolo kaloku kufanele wagqibela ngoba le ntwana usathane ithanile umsebenzi ubuqala ugqityiwe kaloku ngoba wethu uqamati uyaphila lavelilanga ngoba nina abanezivatho ezimbetshembetshe yiyo kaloku le ngubo ekukudala nisingasinga yiyo kaloku le ngubo ekudala nifunafuna ndingathini nukulibala abazali ndingathini nukulibala izalamane ewe bezixhasa imfundo yabo suna nezonyembezi zekhala kaloku nini nezovuyo yithi themba mqala uzawuginya ngoba lo mqubu kade udutyela uvuthiwe ewe kaloku kudala inyembezi ziqamleza umbombo ngoba le nto imfundo ifuna iqhosha engenamntunja hayi makwathi nazincuba khopho ewe kaloku nina mabele abhonxileyo aphuma ubisi namasi apha zonke ezintsana zincela khona ningumthombo ompompoza amazolwazi apho lonke iliswe lisela khona phambili ngemfundo phambili wena mfana kaZakir Ahmed qirha wena uliqhawe lethu kaloku uzamile umzamo. You have made the nations proud, fighting against human and all their equalities. It was not in vain. Fly, eagle, fly. Even the sky is not the limit. Ngacho ke mfana ka Ahmed. ngabetyala madoda mandiwagawule ndiwarhuqa akagabuci washo umntana uthi boloshe unozinga undoko ephume esithi ndiliyakayaka ndinje ndiliyakayaka mama ndiliyakayaka ndinjenjenje hayi bo andiva ndiliyakayaka ndinje ndiliyakayaka ndinje ndiliyakayaka mama hayi 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 bo ewa ndiliyakayaka mama ndiliyakayaka ye ndiliyakayaka mama
Inkosi kakhulu Sange.
Colleagues, we now move to the part of the ceremony where we will be conferring the degrees, and I invite the Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Acting Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, to lead us to start that part of the process.
I hereby invite graduates and members of the health sciences profession to stand and join me in saying the Health Sciences Declaration.
This is for the members, for the students in health sciences who are going to be graduating to take the pledge, and for members of the health science profession who have previously done so to reaffirm the pledge.
Thank you. I solemnly pledge to serve humanity. If you'd read with me, colleagues, my most important considerations will be the health of patients and the health of communities. I will not permit considerations of age, gender, race, religion, ethnic origin, sexual orientation, disease, disability, or any other factor adversely affect the care I give to patients. I will uphold human rights and civil liberties to advance health, even under threat. I will engage in patients and colleagues as partners in healthcare. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will value research and will be guided in its conduct by the highest ethical standards. I commit myself to lifelong learning. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I admit to the degrees specified and grant the diplomas and certificates specified to candidates who are recorded in the program as graduating in absentia. I shall now grant the diplomas and certificates and admit to the degrees specified the candidates who will be presented to me by the deans.
Platform party, please stand for the posthumous award of the degree. Vice Chancellor, Oscar Kulati will accept the Master of Social Science and Social Development degree with distinction on behalf of the family of Azinga Tele.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the postgraduate diploma in addictions care, Miriam Notolo Piliso. For the Postgrad Diploma in Health Management, Mamokgashoa Edwina Mabuela. Molefi Benedict Motsi. Balakile Edward Mzangwa. With distinction, Kelebogile Sana Shuping. Elton Dominique Titus. For the Postgrad Diploma in Nursing in Child Nursing, Deirdre Hendricks. Nadia Yusuf. In nephrology nursing, Pule Samuel Dikoebe. For the degree of Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, Senesipo Giorgio. Sorry. For the diploma in nephrology nursing, Bazana Bonfazia Jobo. For the degree in Bachelor of Science in Audiology, Sorry, folks, they got two things mixed up here, so I'm going to go back to the Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. The second candidate is Melissa Panchu. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Audiology, Letitia Nell. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Physiotherapy, Molebogeng Molebo Mokotso. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Speech-Language Pathology, Varisha Hutharam. Farai Daderai Mbigi. For the degree of Bachelor of Medical Science Honours in Infectious Diseases and Immunology, Tamsin Trevor.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the Advanced Certificate in Senior Phase Teaching, Leanne Wendy Florence. For the Higher Certificate in Education in Adult Education, Raquel Klassen. Nicolene Cupido. For the Postgraduate Certificate in Foundation Phase Teaching, Taryn Candice Welsh. For the Postgraduate Certificate in Intermediate Phase Teaching, Sinazo Buntu. For the Diploma in Theatre and Performance, Luke Kerwin Bays. Komotso Gwendolyn Coleman. For the Postgraduate Diploma in Music in Performance, Keketso Bolofo. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Hira Mahmoud Malik. Nicholas Fezekile Koleka. Tawulanga Abongile Shiki. Sarah Zing. In film and media production, Odwa Kwede. In theater and performance, Matthew Krell. Namisa Ndalosi. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Fine Arts, Emily Allen. Katerina Maria Siani. With distinction in studio work, Q. San Lee. For the degree of Bachelor of Music, with distinction in music theory and analysis, accompanying history of music, composition and piano, and the degree with distinction, Johannes Hendricks Fieser. For the degree of Bachelor in Social Science, Takuswanashe Vivian Chivaura. Lakanipo Pendulo Madrid. Zwandile Raf Kudzai Mauchi. With distinction in dance, Copano Tiana Matora. Tafadzwa Vimbai Tatenda Ghost. Malik Marcel Ntonen Jagwe. Pumisa Nguda. Richard Andrew Price, Rutherford. For the degree of Bachelor of Social Work, Jenna Francis Ziegler. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honors in African Studies, Robin van Skokvik. In English Studies, Julia Claire Norris. In historical studies, Melissa Angela Engelberg. In media theory and performance and practice, Vuyisile Retabisizwe Kubeka. First class, Nandi Tembela Majola. Jamie Lee Mattress. Matseleng Pine. Grace Bridget Thompson. First class, Lauren Jane Foster. In political communication, first class, Jamie Lee de Klerk. Buntu Sikaba. Snotando Nolwazi Timunye. For the degree of Bachelor of Education Honors, Kaswambanga Kolela. In musicology, first class, Rega de Beer. For the degree of Bachelor of Social Science Honors in African Studies, Zizipo Ntukwana. In anthropology, Cleo Imogen Comac. Darren Lee Gray. Miss Tanja Kanangoni. Simone Oosthuizen. Siwapiwe Sibeko. Shari Michaela Tangent. Shari Michaela Tangent. In development studies, Asifika Mpako. Donna Parek. Yasmin Lena Raymond. In drama, Bonolo Nileo Makele. In economic history, Mabida Martins. In justice and transformation, Oratile Obakwe Kanti. In philosophy, politics, and economics, Renee Susan Hunter. In psychology, Kelly Watson.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the Postgraduate Diploma in Law, Lindile Haya Mavela. John Derek Ralphs. Sweetness Sitkubani. For the degree of Bachelor of Laws, She Tanita Gandidze. Shadrach and Lovu. Nelisa Sishuba. For the degree of Master of Laws, Jana Rene Boshoff. Lisa Duval. For the degree of Master of Laws in Commercial Law, Richard James Bryce. Zumbe Andrew Kumwenda. Reese May. Nicholas Lindsay Llewellyn Mayer. For the degree of Master of Laws in Dispute Resolution, Chisomo Harvey Musekera. For the degree of Master of Laws in Human Rights Law, Elkanah Oluwapelumi Babatunde. Alan Nsubuga Basajasubi. Yolando Chula. Luyando, sorry. Jamie Lee Liederman. Master of Laws in Intellectual Property Law, Cecily Stella Jacobs. Master of Laws in International Law, Belinda Samkela Teresa Schlatwayo. Agnes Mwaihomba. Rahisa Nierongo. Catherine Therese Stark. Master of Laws in International Trade Law, Jade Gudrun Irvis. Maud Vitima Jere. Master of Laws in Marine and Environmental Law, Carol Lee Denise Pick. Javier Dominique Rebello. Tanya Stradom. Master of Laws in Private Law and Human Rights, Ibrahim Abrams. In public law? Private law. Okay. Opiemi Olamide Aladekta. Master of Laws in Public Law, Shamima Ali. In Tax Law, Andrew Satiro Kulo. Sangadzahomi Alexander Mukumba. Hulisani Saisi. For the degree of Master of Laws in Commercial Law, Lisa Ann Juvenage. In Environmental Law, Rudolph Cornelis Letter. Cosette Myberg. Karin Nietling. Kim Candice Pontac. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in Criminology, Law and Society, Hannes Kukamur. Vanya Petrovic. In environmental law, Rebecca Hughes. Keith Anthony Wiseman. In public law, Kirsten Lee Harris. Michelle Frederick van Eerden.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the degree of Master of Medicine in Anesthesia with distinction, Gugulethu Tsakani Jenny Mhlanga. In family medicine, William Martin Frank Langenhoven. In medicine, Shepherd Kajawo. Leonard Edgar Lutaya. In otorhinolaryngology, Evelyn Joy Sampson. In pathology, clinical, with distinction in the dissertation, Andre Swanepoel. For the degree of Master of Medicine in Chemical Pathology, with distinction in the dissertation, Mbali, Tembekile, Lynette, and Ndlovu. For the degree of Master in Medicine in Dermatology, with distinction in the dissertation, Roxanne Karen De Silva. For the degree of Master of Medicine in Emergency Medicine, Martin De Man. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in Biomedical Forensic Science, Craig Anthony Richards. In Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, with distinction in the dissertation, Catherine Adito Abo. In Disability Studies with distinction, Cleone Jordan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short break of about 45 seconds just to allow you to stretch your legs. Please don't leave your seats.
I'll have a glass of water.
Yeah. Ask if there's a bathroom. Oh, there is, there is. I'm seriously hot now. You want to go to the bathroom?
All right, let's resume proceedings. If you would please take your seats, thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll proceed. We're for the degree of Master of Philosophy in Gastroenterology Surgical, with distinction in the dissertation, Mark Michael Bernan. In Maternal and Child Health, Elora Saka. In Public Mental Health, with distinction, Megan Milan. In Sports Physiotherapy, Tracy Ellis. Marlene Westhuizen. With distinction in the coursework, Brett John Phillips. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in Clinical Pharmacology, with distinction in the dissertation, Blessings Richard Tuboy. Lovina Elizabeth van der Laan. With distinction in the dissertation, Jana Louise Winkler. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in Emergency Medicine, in Clinical Emergency Medicine, with distinction in the dissertation, Zureida Muller. For the degree of Master of Public Health, Janet Sarah Austin. With distinction in the coursework, Rutendo Mazima. With distinction in the dissertation, Jacinta Odaya. Tuso Tlaole. In epidemiology, with distinction in the dissertation, Oluwaseyi Olakan Orowosegbe. With distinction, Natasha Berkowitz. With distinction, Tokozile Rosemary Malaba. With distinction in the coursework, Nomatansankra Ndlovu. With distinction in the dissertation, Pakledis Shoniwa. In health economics, with distinction in the dissertation, Zunda Chisha. With distinction in the coursework, Yasmina Johnson. In health systems, Uchenna Neka Chukwa.
With distinction in the dissertation, Ruth Matthijs. With distinction, Jolly Ann Mowlett. With distinction, Angelica Nurian Ulauri. With distinction, Liesel van Deventer. In social and behavioral sciences, Sitembiso Mkobi Standwa Ndlovu. For the degree of Master of Science in Audiology, Vera Geneve Hlaisi. With distinction, Taryn Jane Sparg. For the degree of Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering, Albert Nyamola Opio. Kara Swanepoel with distinction. For the degree of Master of Science in Medicine in Bioinformatics, Joel Therefore. Pademoyo Farai Kachambwa. In Biomaterials, Cindy Chokoza. In Clinical Science and Immunology, Buchele Mbobo. With distinction, Trishanda Nundalau. With distinction, Prashanta Pillai. With distinction, Avril Walters. In Emergency Medicine, Emmanuel Quadzo Ayable. Chansey Max Chavula.
In exercise science, with distinction, Lindsay Toya Starling. In hematology, Tahira Ghulam Hussain. In medical biochemistry with distinction, Melissa Jane Walcott Blumenthal. Jeremy Gareth Burgess. With distinction, Sarah Louise Carden. George William Cooper. With distinction, David James Scott. In medical cell biology, with distinction, Ikponwosa Irene. In medical microbiology, with distinction, Bevika Sugalam. In medical virology, with distinction, Samantha Humby. In medical virology, with distinction, Fidelia Millicent Omondi. In medicine, with distinction, Jane Elizabeth Christie Buerta. In neuroscience, Catherine Helen Atmore. We're just fixing the floor, ladies and gentlemen. For the degree of Master of Science in Nursing, Agatha Omokefi Aigbodion. Abigail Amoa. For the degree of Master of Science in Occupational Therapy, Patrice Malonza. For the degree of Master of Science in Physiotherapy, Jody Ann Bowers. Evelyn Anna Risky Hazinger. With distinction, Kirsty Nonsikalelo Jackson.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the degree of Master of Arts in Applied Drama and Theatre Studies with distinction, Chietza Adeline Chinhan. In clinical psychology, Slindile Nonjabulu Mbata. Esona Setu Ndwandwe. In creative writing, with distinction in the dissertation, Wilkin Karel Kaliz. With distinction, Christian Frederick Beas de Vos. In drama, with distinction, Rehan Abrams. In film studies, with distinction, Daniel Yan Fays. In language, literature, and modernity, with distinction in the dissertation, Sophie Kohler. Abby Alexandra Roberts. With distinction, Kathleen Louise Sampson. In media studies, Nolunyolo Ngomani. In media theory and practice with distinction, Amy Claire Carolis. Zakir Ahmed. In organizational psychology, Tamsin Hudson. In practical anthropology with distinction, Kylie Eve Marais. In psychological research with distinction in the dissertation, Gerard Jan van Rensburg. In religious studies with distinction, Lauren Catherine Bates. In social anthropology with distinction, Claire Jane Fitzgerald. For the degree of Master of Arts in Neuropsychology, Patience Vimbai Mushamil. For the degree of Master of Education in Adult Education with distinction in the dissertation, Yasmina Jacobs. With distinction in the dissertation, Emma Jean Sexton. In curriculum studies, Hotsione Mogomotsi Mukal. Thank you. Thank you. In education administration, planning, and social policy, with distinction in the dissertation, Alexander Barclay Stora Molten. In information communication technologies, Emma Carla Engers. Tasneem Jaffer. In primary education, with distinction in the dissertation, Nabila Abdullah. For the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Fine Art with distinction, Lungiswa Kunta. For the degree of Master of Library and Information Studies, Sipo MacDonald Fackle. With distinction, Gideon Mary Keshoff. Kepi David Madumo. Nekulu Selma Kakatsu Ungwanga. Nazma Vajat. For the degree of Master of Music, in Music, Dissertation and Composition, with distinction, Michael James Graham. In Music, Dissertation and Coursework, with distinction in the dissertation, Olaolu Lawal. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in Development Studies, Robin Jane Anderson. Tinashe Stephanie Kushata. With distinction, Kate Katzen Reinhardt. With distinction, Genevieve Justin Sekum. In Environmental Humanities, with distinction, Jessica Mallory Lee. In Heritage and Public Culture, with distinction in the dissertation, Vanessa Litch. In Justice and Transformation, with distinction in the dissertation, Claire Ann Louise Lester. In Public Policy and Administration, with distinction, Sake Sibabalwe Nkosi. With distinction, Anyum Kweti Yamjo. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in Education, in Information, Communication, and Technologies, Unati, September. For the degree of Master of Social Science in Clinical Social Work, Alexa Maxwell Kroon-Canning. Tandy Wim Kandawari. Sorry. In Environmental and Geographical Studies, Naomi Jane Cresswell. In Global Studies, Leongo Motlabane. In International Relations, with distinction in the dissertation, Shimologo Matlaga. In Psychology, with distinction, Gary Gans. In Organizational Psychology, Warwick Philip Sherritt. With distinction, Sloban Brenna McCrish. In Religious Studies, with distinction, Danica Audrey Dreisen. In Social Anthropology, with distinction in the dissertation, Yusra Price. In Social Development, with distinction, Jessica Jane Dewhurst. Victoria Leopoldine Just Me. Nonsikele Kunzula. With distinction, Micheline Merlin Smith. Raylene Rosita Titus. With distinction, Osborne Kudakwashi Uswahwezi. In sociology, with distinction, Mohini Bajnat.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Commercial Law, for a thesis which shows how the changes brought about by the Companies Act 71 of 2008 have shifted the balance of power between directors and shareholders, and how this impacts on corporate governance in South Africa. Carius Tererai Chokuda. In commercial law, for a thesis which examines the Companies Act 2008 to ascertain its contribution to developing clear, improved, and effective standards of directors' conduct, to making those standards accessible, clear, ascertainable, and enforceable, and to enhancing corporate governance. Brighton Murisa Mukangavanu. In criminology, for a thesis that empirically examines the contestations of governance in police and gang interactions in Cape Town. Irvin Roy Kines. In criminology, for a thesis which argues that territorial and social boundaries have profoundly influenced the strategies and actions of South Africa's police, particularly when such boundaries coincide with othering and threat framing of populations across such boundaries. Guy Lamb. In public law, for a thesis which employs democratic theory to advocate constitutional protection for the right of access to information in Nigeria, and also to curtail abuse of executive powers under national security laws that permit unjustifiable restrictions to access to information. Aaron Olanihi Salo. In private law, for a thesis which works to repoliticize the global phenomenon of transparency, asking whether it can be understood otherwise and arguing that it functions as a depoliticizing regime of truth that also undermines itself. Rachel Margaret Adams. In private law, for a thesis which examines the protection of privacy and personal data within the electronic healthcare industry in Africa, and argues for extending regulatory collaborations across the region. Beverly Alice Townsend.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Engineering, for a thesis which shows that walking and running are altered after long-term knee surgery, and this can be partially corrected by using a new type of cycle trainer. Giovanni Sergio Melandri. In clinical science and immunology, for a thesis which shows that in mouse models, the signaling receptor interleukin-4 alpha is not required for susceptibility or resistance to the parasitic disease cutaneous leishmaniasis and worm infections schistosomiasis. Melissa Govender. In clinical science and immunology, for a thesis which shows the impact of maternal gut microbiota during gestation or lactation on offspring intestinal microbiota and immunity, consequently proposing the gut microbiota as a therapeutic target to enhance infant immunity. Donald David Nyangao. In dermatology, for a thesis which investigates the reliability of a geometric classification for hair curl variation that has potential applications for the use of hair as a testing substrate for medicine, forensic, and cosmetic science. Kwezikazi Nkentani. In emergency medicine, for a thesis which documents improved cardiovascular care for patients pre-hospital admission and led to the development of improved cardiac intervention systems in Abu Dhabi, with paramedics being responsible for activating interventional cardiology services before reaching hospital. Edward Lance Callahan. In emergency medicine, for a thesis which identifies factors that influence recruitment, retention, and motivation of advanced life support practitioners in South Africa, so as to make effective recommendations to enhance their attraction, retention, and motivation in emergency medical services. Padarath Gangaram. In exercise science, for a thesis which involves the novel investigation of possible behavioral and genetic factors influencing concussion in South African rugby union players. Shamina Abrahams. In exercise science, for a thesis which highlights the high rate of tackle-related injuries in youth rugby union, identifies poor tackle technique as a key risk factor, and describes the development of a novel training tool to mitigate this risk. Nicholas Berger. In exercise science, for a thesis which develops and contributes towards a scientific and foundational understanding of the batting backlift technique in cricket, with a set of practical implications for the backlift and novel tools that can be used by coaches and players. Mohammed Habib Nurbai. In health sciences education, for a thesis which explores how medical students transition from classroom-based learning to operationalizing patient-centered communication during healthcare education encounters with rheumatic heart disease patients. Rachel Weiss. In medical microbiology, for a thesis which investigates novel point-of-care technologies for TB diagnostic testing in low-resource settings, consisting of a TB breath analyzer, a urine-based diagnostic test, a modified DNA-based test used on blood, and a redesigned sputum collecting device. Vineshri Mishka Mudli. In medical virology, for a thesis which investigates the restoration of immune function in HIV-infected women on antiretroviral therapy. Tanko Fatime Ramla. In medicine, for a thesis which addresses non-communicable diseases in the South Africa public primary care setting, including multimorbidity, disease control, treatment, socioeconomic associations, and evaluation of a clinical management tool and training intervention for nurses. Naomi Falb. In medicine, for a thesis which quantifies the burden of metabolic syndrome in HIV-infected individuals from a global perspective, assesses the agreement between criteria for diagnosing metabolic syndrome, and addresses the optimization of the performance of those criteria in Africans with HIV. Kim Ann Wen. In nursing, for a thesis which describes eating habits, nutritional knowledge, and physical activity behavior of adolescents in urban public junior secondary schools in Botswana, and develops, implements, and evaluates a lifestyle intervention movement program through a pragmatic randomized trial. Kaondiayiwe Lubinda Sinombe. In occupational therapy, for a thesis which shows how intervention design in pediatric occupational therapy may focus too much on individualism and occupational performance, and how this is a reflection of the largely homogeneous composition and worldviews of occupational therapists typically in practice. Pamela Joy Gretchell. In pediatrics, for a thesis which describes the distribution of ventilation in infants and children under different conditions and shows that this is complex and provides novel insights that will help guide and improve clinical practice. Alison Rosalie Lupton-Smith. In physiology, for a thesis that finds genetic variants within genes involved in the angiogenesis signaling pathway to be associated with altered risk of tendon and ligament sporting injuries. Masouda Rahim. In physiotherapy, for a thesis which describes the potential utility of autogenic drainage, an airway clearance technique used by physiotherapists in young children with cystic fibrosis and acute pneumonia through a series of novel investigations. Lizelot Cortin. In physiotherapy, for a thesis which investigates overweight, obesity in both typically developing children and in children with intellectual disability, and finds a high prevalence in both groups. Nirmala Naidu. In public health, for a thesis which applies innovative statistical techniques to heterogeneous sources of data to provide much needed information about long-term trends in the hypertension epidemic in South Africa and associated factors amenable to intervention. Anibale Koes. In public health, for a thesis which describes women's experiencing accessing safe abortion services in South Africa, Public Health Service, and which estimates government costs of improving service provision and expanding access over time to reduce morbidity and mortality from unsafe abortions. Naomi Leone Linte Durachi. In public health, for a thesis which shows that young people in Khayelitsha use their gender identity and sexual partnerships in the transition to adulthood. Alison Schwartz. In surgery, for a thesis which describes the science and development of a technique and related devices capable of growing new bone and soft tissue along a curved trajectory in patients with large defects in the upper jaw after tumor removal. Mohammed Rashdi Hendricks.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Education, for a thesis which investigates corporal punishment practices in a rural South African school in Mpumalanga province, to explain the persistence of corporal punishment and to propose solutions for transformative change in teachers' discipline practices. Simangele Gladys Maisela. In Education, for a thesis mapping the learning trajectories of physical sciences teachers' knowledge for teaching chemical bonding, to identify factors informing teaching expertise and providing guidelines for pre-service teachers' education and the professional development of science teachers in South Africa, Renee Turing. In English Language and Literature, for a thesis focusing on the figure of the returnee detective in post-colonial crime fiction, determining how this figure is used to mediate the reader's understanding of civil conflict in the post-colonial world, Camille Emma Naika. In Linguistics, for a thesis which develops the first comprehensive descriptive grammar of Ateso, a language of the Teso-Tokana sub-branch of Eastern Nilotic, David Wanjala Barasa. In Philosophy, for a thesis which considers the challenge that moral ignorance poses to theories of blameworthiness and argues that a restricted version of the moral ignorance excuse can be accommodated by a quality of will account of blameworthiness, Anna Margot Hartford. In Philosophy, for a thesis which uses the techniques of formal epistemology to show that there can be no rationally compelling inductive argument for or against the existence of God, John Montague Ostrowitz. In Psychology, for a thesis that investigates the relationship between sleep disruption and neutral memory, emotional memory, and emotional reactivity in individuals with post-traumatic stress disorder, and that provides evidence for sleep being a critical biological process linked integrally to psychological well-being, Małgorzata Lipinska. In Psychology, for a thesis which uses quantitative and qualitative methods to understand which factors affect parental engagement in a parent training program for low-income parents of 2 to 9-year-olds, and how engagement is associated with program gains. Inge Marie Vessels. In social anthropology, for a thesis which examines the role of language in the performance of male township youth identities in Tokoza Township on the East Rand in Gauteng, South Africa, Ida Makosazana Makule. In social anthropology, for a thesis that examines the birthing sector in South Africa with specific attention to the natural birth movement and how its middle-class adherents understand knowledge, pain, and care in birthing. Jennifer Jean-Marie Rogerson. In social development, for a thesis which investigates factors that influence South African primary school teachers reporting of suspected child sexual abuse, and that highlights significant social development policy and practice implications for child protection. Deirdre Margot Rule.
Colleagues, let's give one more huge round of applause for all of our graduates who have done so brilliantly today. I know that our graduates, new masters, new doctors, new bachelor's graduates today will recognize that they could never have got to where they had done without the support of their loved ones in the audience, families, parents, partners. And so I invite you, graduates, to stand up, make eye contact with your families in the audience, and wave those scrolls and shout your appreciation to them. We thank you, parents and loved ones. We know the emotional support, financial support, psychological support, just standing with your sons and daughters and partners, and that this is very much your own celebration and achievement. And I believe we would also acknowledge and recognize and want to thank the people on the platform who are our teachers, who have the brains trust of the university, who are what makes this a great university and what gives us great graduates. And I invite the graduates to show your appreciation to the members of faculty on the stage. And we thank you too, from the executive of the university. And also there's another group of people who ensure that this university functions, not the academic staff, but the support and professional staff, the people who've organized the graduation, who clean the residences, who cater for us, who manage the faculty offices. And I'd like you to show your appreciation to them for making this university what it is. It takes a team to do this job, and we have a great team. As you graduate, many of you, for the first time from the University of Cape Town, you become members of a very special club, the convocation of the university or the alumni of the university. You're automatically members. We don't charge you to be members. You are members because you've graduated. And we hope that you will maintain those links with us throughout your lives. We have chapters of the convocation around the world in almost every city. And if you end up settling somewhere there, you will be able to have an immediate network of friends and colleagues and work associates in those places. We rely on the convocation to provide continuity in the university. The convocation elects members of the council, the highest governing body. You elect the chancellor of the university, and you give us feedback through email, through our websites, on how you see the university is doing and any advice you have. For that to happen, we need to be able to contact you, to send you our quarterly newsletters, and I plead with you to keep your email addresses on our convocation and alumni website up to date, so that as you move around, as you move to new jobs and new places, we're able to keep in touch with you, both electronically and also through meetings and alumni events and reunions. You go out to the world also as ambassadors of this university, and you will be judged certainly in part by the quality of your degree, the technical quality, the expertise that you demonstrate, but you will also be judged, perhaps even more importantly, by the values by which you live, values and ethos that we hope you have been strengthened through your time at UCT, active citizenship, commitment to social justice, commitment to improving the lot of those who are less fortunate, less privileged than this group that has made it a very privileged group to have graduated from a tertiary institution and from the University of Cape Town. I think those values were so admirably captured by our honorary doctorate this morning, both in recognizing Zakir Ahmed, but also in the speech that he gave us to use every opportunity to make the world a better place. Go out and celebrate. Have a great day. Have a great time. And well done. Congratulations.
Vice-Chancellor, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, I should like to add my own congratulations to all the graduates and their families for their success. I'd also once again like to congratulate the awardees of the Creative Works Award, the Book Award, and of course our honorary graduate. We at UCT take great pride in following the lives of our graduates and in turn hope that you do us proud. At UCT, we do not merely train doctors, actuaries, teachers, lawyers, musicians, dancers, but learners for life. Perhaps the greatest skill that you will have learned, whatever your discipline, whatever your degree, will be that of thinking and analyzing critically. It's a skill that will serve you well through the rest of your lives. So graduates, you'll go out into the world and make your mark. You will not be expected merely to practice your profession, but to be called upon also to address major issues that afflict societies here and globally. Please be prepared to help and to participate in building communities, offering a helping hand to those who need it, encouraging those who follow you and who are ambitious like you to come to university and always to contribute to a greater good. Our world today is sadly often a place of turmoil. We have wars, dislocations, displacements of people from their lands, all kinds of fundamentalisms, poverty, epidemics, and other crises of various descriptions. You should challenge yourselves to confront these issues and commit to making an effort to contribute to solutions that will advance the society of which you are a part. So I wish you great success in your futures, and once again I think we should give our graduates a round of applause. So, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing until the procession has left the hall. I invite the graduates and their families to a function in the Leslie Building, which is, as you exit from Jamison Hall, turn right and it's down at the south end of the avenue. Graduates, please join the procession as it leaves the hall and proceed right to the bottom of the steps as far as University Avenue. The Vice-Chancellor will now dissolve the congregation, so would you please stand?
By virtue of the authority conferred on me as Vice-Chancellor, I now dissolve this congregation of the University of Cape Town.